What's up, everyone? Welcome to CrypTalk, the UGG podcast show where we're going to be talking about NFT gaming scene. I'm your host, Rob Luna, and for this episode, we will be talking more about NFT gaming and how it took the Philippines by storm. And joining us for this episode, going to be a young and individual, Kevin Hoang. He's been a longtime community builder from hip hop, break dancing. Can't wait to hear about that. Been college gaming for over a decade, former analyst for Team Solo Mead, former global program manager for Twitch, working on the Twitch student program. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
Hi Rob, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yes, probably let's just check on how this is gonna be a big topic, definitely. It's NFT and people here in the Philippines really specifically way back probably July in 2021 when Axie Infinity was being introduced here, and the thing with the play to earn, that's so much and a lot of things that we have to talk about. But before we actually dive deep into the NFT gaming scene, would you mind to let us know who's Kevin Hoang? And you're one of the co-founders, of course, of AcadArena. What do you do in most days with AcadArena?
Yeah, I guess a bit about me. I've always been someone that really liked bringing people together based on things that I like doing, and a lot of that was through dance and through gaming. And then I ended up joining AcadArena last April when I left Twitch. And then I was really excited about Southeast Asia. I was really excited about what gaming is doing for the people here, especially in the Philippines with crypto, with Play to Earn, with Axie Infinity. So I ended up joining as the last co-founder and late co-CEO. And my day-to-day is of various number of things, from making sure making sure we hire the best people to come work at AcadArena, to helping figure out our product roadmaps, to staying up to date to the ever-changing world of Web3 and crypto, which is changing every single day. So I would always say, like, my head's in the clouds, but my boots on the grounds, and have to kind of balance like those two worlds, pretty much on a day-to-day basis.
No, I like that you mentioned that boots on the ground. If I may ask, like in terms of AcadArena, I mean, I've known AcadArena, of course. We've mentioned this before we actually went live through Tio. That was Omi. I had to work with him way back on the Mobile Legends scene. What are the vision of course, of AcadArena? I mean, you guys, if I'm not mistaken, you guys were giving scholarship to young kids who's actually into gaming itself. Like, how does it actually work, and how will that actually work now with the NFT gaming scene getting very popular here in the Philippines?
Yeah. So when we started out in college gaming, like almost a decade ago, before even AcadArena, it was something that a bunch of people, especially in North America, got really excited about League of Legends, and they ended up organizing communities on their campus, and it grew so big that schools ended up giving out scholarships to play League of Legends professionally. So schools like University of California, Irvine, to Robert Morris University. So a lot of the top institutions in North America started adopting esports, and I was part of that wave of people that was spearheading that movement. Hence, that was my role at Twitch for the last 4 years. So I was building stuff I wish I had in school.
Oh.
I still, like, my dad still has no idea what I do for a job, because it was so, like, bringing video games to school was just like, didn't make any sense, especially when we were told growing up that it was a big waste of time and it's all those things. But if we take a 30,000 step back, it's the biggest entertainment platform today. It's bigger than sports, music, and movies. Gaming and esports has kind of dominated that, and so going back, AcadArena is a continuation of that dream that we've had. Was back when we started the college gaming esports movement. It was a way to validate our passion for gaming, and through that, it manifests into different programs like scholarships, where students can apply on the AcadArena website if they have a passion for gaming, if they're good at, like, Mobile Legends, to they're ramping up their streaming career. They can apply for scholarships to show off what they're doing, and then from there we help cover their tuition. The tuition's covered because the brands that we work with, from Logitech to Globe Telecom and more, like they help co-sponsor and pay for that mileage. So that's like one area. And then we also launched our Play to Grad program, which is incorporating the Axie Infinity Play to Earn ecosystem, um, where students are using their Axie Infinity scholarships to pay for school, which is also like really fun, really exciting. When a student gets to bring home the receipt to their mom or to their dad over dinner that they've paid off their tuition in full for that semester through playing video games. I think that really makes the home life a lot better, and it validates that, hey, gaming could not be a waste of time.
Wow, I'm very much related with the fact that our parents actually didn't know how we're actually getting job or actually a salary into gaming, and I believe in the past few years they've already seen how huge it actually became. I'm not saying it's gonna be like a blessing in disguise within the pandemic because we get to work. I believe gaming was one of the part, or rather, the industry that wasn't that much affected at all during the pandemic because we're ready. I mean, sitting on the computer like 8 hours a day was just easy PC for us, definitely. We were just playing, and not to mention that we are able to earn. And I'm really interested in the play to earn or play to grad. How do you call this? How does it actually work? Because we knew we're about to jump in with the crypto scene. Is that I play Axie Infinity myself, and we do know that those were things that sometimes it's very the price of, if I'm not mistaken, this SLP, the smooth love potion, the currency, or rather the token for that game sometimes gets up in price and it gets down. And how does it actually work? Because it's a very volatile market. Crypto, we sometimes gonna go up and it's gonna go down. And how does it actually resonate in AcadArena or with your play to graduate program?
Yeah, and that's a really good question. Something that we get often a lot, and the best answer that I can give is like, you should. I look at play to earn titles right now as supplementary income, and I think it's like the perfect part time
Mm-hmm.
job for students where they're not always supporting a full family, which in other circumstances where Axie Scholarships is providing a huge part of their household's income. I'm not fully convinced that that's where Play to Earn is or needs to be, where it needs to support four people, like a family of four, six, or whoever. That's quite a lot, and I think
Mm-hmm.
it's that volatility that puts many people at risk when that becomes too much. That's why I think the play to grad makes the most sense, where it's something you do while you continue your education. It's like a vitamin towards something that you're already doing, and it complements. So when we tell our students that are part of that ecosystem, it's like, hey, this is meant to be, part time. This is meant to be part of your education, and so that you're graduating and you're going through the motions while Axie's helping cover like groceries, medical bills, whatever on the side. But yeah, that's kind of like my own way to like look at it, because we can't control what we can't control. This is brand new territory, but we should be very optimistic about what this can do. But we should also make sure that we're not overselling the hype so that people are not hurt at the end.
So now, Kevin, we're actually talking about, of course, with the Academia, with Scholar. I'm really interested on how do you guys actually educate these young people? Because with crypto, whenever you say crypto, there's always a part of the receiver that they think is a little bit of gamble. And if you don't know how to control your urge or yourself, because me myself, I tried trading. I'm not sure it's gonna be part, but when in crypto you know the price of a certain, for example, let's just have the example of SLP. SLP, there was a time it was like around 20 peso way back last year, and now it's merely a peso. So how do you actually educate these young people that how do they treat it like just a currency and not to play around it? Like, for example, use their SLP into gambling maybe, or into something that they don't have to be.
Yeah, that's kind of the tough part. Like as as more people have access to the internet, and now
Mm-hmm.
people are now creating their first wallet ever. Like 80% of our students said that this was their ever first form of income plus their first ever financial storage. So they skip having a bank account, they go straight to a wallet, a crypto wallet. Um, that's a big responsibility for us. Like we not only now are in charge of their gaming overall experience in AcadArena, but it's also like educating them to become crypto Web3 natives eventually. We're really excited to start the development of our learn to earn programs and getting them from 0 to 1. So getting your first wallet, making your first token swap. So doing all the basic actions to protect themselves and also take advantage of what's out there for them. Because what's really exciting is that um, DeFi, Web3, I think it's like the great equalizer in terms of giving people the opportunity to build something for themselves. But that comes at a cost because there's so much information to absorb. And so if AcadArena could be like that one spot that can like give you a foundational knowledge, then like that we feel very good inside that this is it. Because that's that's our mission. That's to use gaming as a force for good. And now that gaming and DeFi is so closely connected, that's really exciting. Because like back when like my parents, when our parents didn't grow up in the internet. The only thing they knew how to do was to buy a house, and that was their only form of asset. Like they didn't have access to stocks. They couldn't download an app and then start trading crypto, and then within 2 3 minutes, right? With like Binance here. So that at its core, this access is very liberating, but it also is something that um, requires a ton of research to get right so that when these people enter Web3 for the first time, they're not immediately hit with like rug pulls or like all the dangerous stuff that's out there because it's like 99% of crypto as well. So it's like the yin and yang or like the good or bad, it's kind of like picking and choosing what
Yes.
is the good versus evil stuff. So it's exciting that technology gets us to this point, but I've seen it done so much good for people that I'm very optimistic.
Well, I like that you mentioned the word rug pull because that was me way back, like probably like 8 months ago when I first tried games. I mean, Axie Infinity was there, but there are a lot of games that coming out, and I really want to jump in. Like for example, a friend, an influencer, did mention this game. Wow, this is gonna be big. This is gonna be huge, and I'm gonna jump right in. And yes, the game that went down just a few months later, and the mere fact that you guys and AcadArena is building the foundation, I believe that's something that they could use. And if I will restart my life, I would like to know it first before actually putting my hard-earned money into this space because there's a lot, like you mentioned, there's a lot of things that you have to learn. Like for example, there's more staking. There's a lot of things that you can be able to do in order for you to earn it, and you just have to know or at least have the knowledge on how to work with it. But
Yeah.
yeah, if there's something that would like I really want to hear about. I mean, of course, what are the challenges for you guys, especially with AcadArena? Because with this one, and how do you guys promote this or even endorse it? How do you guys let the like, for example, you were with working like for Globe. So how do you pitch it to them that this is gonna be the next big thing, and scholars will be able to benefit here on the fullest?
Yeah, it's I think like there's gonna be multiple steps, right? Like I think like first and foremost is that the best thing about Katarina to me is that we don't just
Mhm.
play Web3 games. A lot of those games, like you said before, are not at the quality of like some of our favorite games in Web2, like Valorant, League of Legends, Wild
Mhm.
Rift, Mobile Legends. You can go on and on. That the games that have made it through Web2, right? A lot of Web3 games are getting through because they have the potential to earn massive amounts of dollars. So then it like fails the quality check of what it actually makes a good game or like the right fundamentals for actually even a token. So students can join AcadArena or the Web 2, but then they can stay for the community, which is inherently Web 3. Because Web 3, outside of the earning potential, it's the idea of giving the community an ownership of the things that they care about. So when we think about AcadArena, I think we're building like the Hogwarts for gamers. Like my imagination's
Wow.
like I think we're building like this alternative space, this magic realism where like hey, like this could be another place where you can meet people with your cut of cloth. And then from there you can earn tokens, you can earn SLP, you can earn NFTs that gives you benefits for being part of that ecosystem. Let's say you won our championships for like say Axie Infinity. We can generate you an NFT trophy that you can stake forever and then earn AcadArena tokens whenever that comes out, for example. So
Mm-hmm.
that way, like when you grow up, that tokens that trophy that you earned in like 2022 is now working for you instead and using DeFi. So those are like some really exciting ideas that we have in store. But it's a long way from now. But that's why I think we cannot be shoving Web3 games down our students' throats because that really is not like as a core like League of Legends player, I really care about the competitive quality of the game, and I think a lot of the uh, I think the sentiment is like we cannot also be. I don't think it's so. I don't think it's good
Yeah.
to dismiss Web 2 games as well. I think Web 2 games changed my life. Like free to play, League of Legends, all those games that I grew up enjoying was the reason why I'm here today. And a lot, it just seems like we just like, you know, stomped on our roots of it here because we just have this new technology that's doing next level stuff, but it's also not doing next level stuff in different ways. So I think everything should be approached with a balance with both sides, with a level of empathy and making like the right decisions for people. And I think if we are asking those questions internally, AcadArena will continuously make good decisions for students.
Wow. So I like that you have the balance in between the Web 2 and, of course, with the Web 3 games. Is there anything that you can share with us here? Of course, for sure, people who's going to be watching this one would really want to know your insight on what's going to be a good criteria of going into a Web 3 game because um, there's a lot of things that you could be able to go into the market. There were people that's being into NFTs. They have this like NFTs that with ridiculous amount. Like for example, those apes that looks like I'm not sure how to what's the right or the correct word to tell them, but they look sick. They look good, but their price, I'm not really sure. What's your take with this one? Like, with NFTs, with the things that
Yeah.
going those kinds of prices. What's your take with it?
Yeah, I mean, if you're starting out, I think in the future, Web3 games will be free to play. I
Mm-hmm.
think free to play is one of the most powerful user acquisition tool ever. I think the idea of like scholarships, like play to earn scholarships, is I think it's not a healthy long term because it puts a middleman in between the players and the game. Like
Mm-hmm.
in order to play the game, you need to have X amount of dollars, which is more than like traditional games at $60 even, or like 3,000 pesos. Um, fast math. Um, so I think that's just not a healthy look in the long run. I think in order to, I look at new games as like, hey, if I can go in with my own time and my own skill, I can walk out like a top player. I shouldn't be able to whale and become the best player in a matter of like an hour. That's kind of like my dream game for Web3 is that it will become that place where like you can become whoever you want in that game. And then from there, through your skill and through your time and dedication, you can make a decent amount of living from that. Um, where it's now democratized even further because right now the best of the best is you either go become a pro esports player or you become a streamer or content creator, and that's not big enough where like it can serve the needs of millions of people. I think there needs to be. That's why I think Web3 is exciting because we're able to democratize that ownership even further. But currently, since August of 2021, there's been over like 300 new crypto games that have been created. That's a lot of games, and
Yes.
yeah, and I actually don't play any of them besides like Axie Infinity. Because like I avoid I think it's just like maybe I'm not the demographic for a lot of these new genres that are coming out. But I think in the long term, I think you should wait for Web3 games to be free to play, because at that point, you can start. The goal is to now like figure out the token model where like we realize that scholarships by itself is not going to work in the long run. I think.
Hmm.
Number two is make sure the team that you're investing in, because it is you're when you're buying now like the into the game, you're owning a piece of that ecosystem. Make sure the team that you're backing is credible, that have uh, experience in game development and in crypto or whatever, right? So really checking the people behind the project. Number three is my favorite one is when I go to their Discord. Um, there's a lot of Discord whitelist grinders, like people that
Wow.
just
Yes.
farm the Discord
Hmm.
whitelist all day, and they invite all their friends and their moms to go join the Discord. That's not a genuine community where everyone's just trying to invite each other just so that you can pump the numbers to make it feel artificial. But if you go to a Discord and you have like meaningful conversations in there, people are very like thoughtful in their response and they're not spammy about stuff. Those are things that I think are more like better community building. But I think that's where like I said, 95% of these projects are pretty bad right now. But I'm optimistic still because a lot of the best talent in Web 2, which is traditional games, is moving over to Web3 right now. It's just taking them a bit more time because they're taking a more strategic approach.
I definitely agree with you with the part of the Discord server. I mean, I've been there. I tried to get myself whitelisted. Well, the reason why I want to share this with the viewers right now is that those were the things like it's a little bit Ponzi. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're gonna agree with it that
No,
with
I
me
agree. I
because
agree. Yeah.
right because in those were the Discord, and I really like that Kevin mentioned this one, guys, because it's a definitely a red flag. Because if people are trying to put you in, reel you in, then that only means that you have to invite someone else to take your place, and from that position, it's already been like you're just going into a bubble wherein you're just waiting for it to burst. And wow, that is something that most if you're gonna be on the first time on jumping into the crypto space or even on the NFT gaming scene, those were the things that you have to check out. And a Discord server that you go in, and there's really people that talking about the game, not about the prices, because I mean rather the price of probably the token. I believe Axie Infinity is the only game I've seen so far that come to that point. Like they were on a certain part of our community, like way back. One of the
Yeah.
reason why I jumped into NFT gaming was Axie Infinity, but I just had to try others, and it hurt me so bad.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it's like it's lame. Like as a gamer,
Mhm.
like we are we're very sensitive to like how games should be. Like I think like I'm sure you since you're here, you've probably played a ton of games growing up,
I
right?
did, I did, I
Yeah,
did.
so when it doesn't feel good. It really turns you off from the whole space after your first rug pull. Even like after my first rug pull, I just felt like crap about it. Um,
Hmm.
that's why I think like we need. What I'm excited about is that better builders are coming, such as yourselves, and trying to create a safer space for gamers to learn because this is needed. Because I think in the next 10 years, this will be one of the main frontiers of gaming. We won't even call it crypto games. It would just be called gaming. It wouldn't be this
Yeah.
whole thing, right? Eventually, then there's gonna. It's kind of like how when we grew up with like first generation of the internet, right? You know, when people were like, type your password in the video game and it'll block. Like my got scam on RuneScape because I typed my password in the city because I thought someone told me that jagex would block my password if I typed my password in the city. Then I typed it and then it didn't filter and then I got hacked.
Was that like a phishing site or
No, it's like an
what?
MMORPG called RuneScape back in like
What do you
2000.
mean? How did they got their password? Was it on a
No,
phishing site?
it was just some troll. I was like 9 years old, and
Hmm.
me trusting whoever, right? I just typed my
Oh.
password out because I thought it would blur it, like they
Mhm.
said they would. But they just typed stars. They just typed stars in the chat. And then I just took them seriously, and then I got scammed. I lost my stuff. Like It's but this Web3 side, it's on another level of scams because I don't know, like I grew up with enough scams in the internet, but like this stuff is kind of they're getting really good, they're getting really smart. So um yeah, I'm
I
sure you've had
would
a lot. Yeah,
agree with you there, and that's one of the reason why I'm not promoting this one. By the way, I had this because I got the same thing that happened with you. I mean, I type it into somewhere. It was like a phishing, but yeah, I lost not a ton, but it's quite a hefty amount. So that's one of the reason why I had a hard wallet right now, because I
yeah,
don't want I don't want to happen that again. And this can happen, right? And I really like that you mentioned earlier that the foundation, the learning, and the things that you and AcadArena are showing or teaching onto this kids, your scholars, on how to start, where to start, and how to
yeah.
protect yourself.
Yeah, we try. Otherwise, like this wouldn't be a fun place to grow up on the internet on. It's like a I don't know. I feel like it's a responsibility. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like there's so much more that's out there for people, but we're here like going back to like our scamming ways to just make quick dollars and then leaving people out to dry. What's really cool what I learned about Twitch was like I got to meet students that were making a living on Twitch, while
Mm-hmm.
Twitch was also making money with the revenue split with the creator. They pioneered the creator economy, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we
Yes.
got to see win-win scenarios, right? Like back in the 90s and the 80s, it was all about like for someone to win, someone needs to lose, and I think we can really figure out a way where we can have win-win scenarios. So um, that's we gotta try because there's a lot out there for people.
I like that. Before we actually get to end this show, I'm really interested. Okay, especially with Academia. What's gonna be your push? Like, we guys are starting this space right now, and not most people want that. They do probably a lot. Most people right now are trying in this space because they have at the back of their mind that they're gonna be earning something on it. And I believe in my own knowledge is that that's not a good way to start, because if you started with thinking that you wanted to just simply earn it, it beats the purpose of gaming, right? um I believe specifically with Action Infinity, I get to enjoy the game regardless of how much smooth SLP is. It may be 20 pesos way back then, or even a peso right now, but I still play the game because somehow I get to enjoy it. But with you guys, what is your perspective in the future of NFT gaming in this coming years?
Yeah, I think I'm really excited about um how DeFi and NFT can work together. I really like. Oh, sorry. Let me take a step back. The what I think what's gonna happen is that we went from the creator economy to create your own economy. Um, we're gonna see people build cities worth of people based on the values of that project. And then from there, the economy, that circular economy that can support for other people, that citizens of that city or that project can then start, people can start earning and also start finding a community that's bigger than themselves. I think
Mm-hmm.
crypto and Web3 enables um, gives power back to the people in terms of ownership. And then from there, um, ownership means having a shared interest or shared value into something. We're going to see people becoming more pickier on what projects to back and what projects to support, as better projects stay while other projects disappear. Um, with that goes the same with gaming. That's why only X amount of games actually survive. You're going to see the same thing in Web3 and in games. It's just the fact that right now people aren't educated enough to really decipher or to learn what is a good or a bad project. Um, so why we're excited about in building an AcadArena, when I said earlier that we're building this Hogwarts for gamers, it's like
Mm-hmm.
I want to build a place for students like me growing up that had a passion for pop culture, gaming, anime, whatever, blockchain, can feel like they're part of a network of other students that understands them. And I think people want to be heard, people want to be understood, people want to find their identities. and find that community. Because I think though, as the world and the internet becomes so much bigger, we're also getting a lot lonelier as a society because there's not like after you graduate school, you kind of like go to work and then like
Hmm.
that's it, and then you hang out with your workmates and then you commute an hour and a half, 2 hours each way, and it's not a really I think life should be a big quest, and I think quest should be is can be anything, but I think as more and more people learn DeFi crypto, they can use their money that they've earned to work for them, and then at that way that they, like I said earlier, where my mom and my dad only knew how to buy a house, Web3 will enable people to learn DeFi, NFT,
Hmm.
like all this stuff much faster. And then from there, let their monies work for them versus, getting stuck in the trap, which is, the trap is like, you can only afford paycheck to paycheck. Once you get enough people out of that system,
Hmm.
you're going to have so many people with so much more free time because money buys you time. That extra time now could be used to help solve real world problems. And I think gaming should be the massive onboarding for people to be free from that day to day. And I think that's the future that I'm really excited about.
Hmm.
I have so many friends that wish they could go back and redo college because they took a major that they didn't like and they ended up paying a ton of money for school, or like they graduated with that degree and they couldn't find a job after college, and they lose a sense of that purpose and identity. What this Hogwarts for gamers gives you is like a shared network, and then also the ability to apply yourself to then set you up with the right foundation to be a Web3 native. And then from there, hopefully at that point, you can start finding your identity. And I think from there, um, I think that's a more like achievable future versus like promising every game is gonna make you you know, X amount of dollars and promising that
Hmm.
stuff.
Yes, you know what, Kev? I really was captivated in the part of the DeFi, the financial freedom that was about to happen with you if you actually know what you're actually doing. Like, there were tons of things. Even for the viewers, you can check this one out. Is that you can have things here on DeFi that you can have like a certain amount of cash that you have to just simply put it. I mean, even those were like stable coins, just simply put it in an exchange, and it gets you interest, and over time you can even compound it. And the reason why I like this part that you mentioned, Kevin, is because myself, I was an HRM graduate, but I didn't get to use it. Well, I did. I was working way back before I started my streaming career 4 years ago. I was working on Academy Manila, but it wasn't really for me. And
Yeah.
gaming is something that I would definitely go and dive into it, and that's what I did 4 years ago. But of course, there were a part of me that I still have to work. I have to work my way, and if only I knew that I could be able to use some of the, or rather go into DeFi and have the money that I have and just simply work for me, probably I have enough money not to even work for a month. And those were the things that probably in the future, if you started early or you know what you're doing, and those guys, you guys were doing right now, if you get to educate those young people into the right direction, they could be something in the future because
Yeah.
they have more time.
Yeah, no, exactly, right? Like I was the same. I was in debt till I was like 26 years old. I had credit card debts because I didn't know anything about personal finance. Then I learned about stocks, trading, all that stuff, like you said you do now. Um, and it shows like if you teach this stuff, people will learn how to fish. The saying is like
Yes.
teach people how to fish and not give them a fish. The other thing
Hmm.
is like Albert Einstein said that compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. Like
Hmm.
that is 100% true. Like that extra month that you had, that you would have taken a break, you could have learned a lot of things about yourself. You could have taken that time to give yourself that the space you needed to find yourself. And I think, especially in this world where like there's so much information, there's so much expectations, there's so much that we have to fight for, that month could mean everything, right? So that's why I think Web3 and crypto is that frontier, because it allows for that money to reach the people. And I think the my favorite examples was during the also the worst example was like the during the typhoon here, right? I didn't have a Gcash,
Mhm.
don't have a Filipino bank account, so but I was able to send my players in Ronin and through SLP. I was able to literally like within 2 minutes just hand money out to people to fix their roofs. Like, and I've never ever in my life, and I've done a ton of charity projects, was able to use my money to help people in that way. And at that point, it's not really about money now. It's because they're part of a network, right, of
Mhm.
other humans with a shared community. Now they're part of like AcadArena. I actually know these people. So once they become like family to you, they're not just a user in a database like in Web 2, right? Like at the end of the day, when I was still at Twitch, all I cared about, my mandate as a company, was hours broadcast and hours watched. The users was the means to that, right? Like how much more ads can we sell? How much more, that stuff. It's there. It changed the way the internet worked. But I think with this, it I wanted to expand even further. So yeah, and I think that's like, end of the day, that's like my why, and that's why, moving to all the way to the Philippines 2 months ago to work on this is why I want to do this, because um we there's so many people out there that needs gaming to gaming will save tons of lives. It
Mhm.
will save tons of lives, and if we can get there, get to that student first before like they get told that they're a loser by their parents, their society, their teachers, whatever. It sucks seeing people with massive talent that could have been somebody just turn that away because they were told they didn't have the right support network.
Well, I learned so much today, Kevin. I mean, not only with I thought I knew a lot, but you telling me, and even with how you guys are going, moving forward in the future with NFT gaming scene with AcadArena. Wow, I wish I had more time to talk to you longer to be able to know more about this, but wow, there's so much to learn, and I hope we get to touch people's lives. I mean, you mentioned that you didn't even imagine that you'd be able to help those people in minutes time. You can send the help through Ronin, and they can able to withdraw it through probably on P2P on Binance or even on their Gcash. But yeah, I'm glad we were early. I'm really glad that we be able to know this space, because this part could be something in the future, and I firmly believe that 100%. But yeah, I hate to do this, but this is for crypto. If ever people or there's someone watching that really wants to dive in, probably wants to join your program in AcadArena, how can they be able to reach out with you guys?
Yeah, easily you can find our website, acadarena.com, AcadArena, and .com. And our
Mhm.
Facebook is just the same thing, Acadarena. And if you want to just DM me personally on Twitter, give me like three different access point, but my Twitter is Kabumban, KEBUNBUN. Yeah, so thanks so much for the time today, and it was a fun conversation.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, guys, that's gonna be our episode for Crypt Talk, and of course, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much, Kevin Hoang, for enlightening us, and hopefully, we get to enlighten people who's gonna be watching this episode as well, and to get them to the right path, how they could be able to manage those DeFi guys. You can just simply watch it way back again, and there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn on this space, and I'm really excited that we have people or individuals like Kevin who's gonna be willing to give their hand and be able to teach us on how to explore this new space in order for us to go up, rather not to be backward but to move forward. But Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rob. Like, that's super. Uh, I just really enjoyed the questions and appreciate your time today. And yeah, let's help a lot of people.
Yes, yes. Thank you. And of course, gaming. I mean, I believe we get into this part of the show, or even
Mhm.
up to this point, it's all because of gaming. That's gonna be our roots, regardless if it's Web 2, if it's Web 3. It doesn't really matter as long as the community is actually helping one another, playing and enjoying as well. And that is something that I'm gonna live up for. Like, personally, I would want to be on the part, like I don't really have to think on how will I be able to pay my bills, because I want to just simply build, I want to create, and those were the things that I would want to be at some point of my life. And I believe in this space, it's doable. And the mere fact that people are also looking into like that financial freedom, and everyone, I believe every people in the world really wants to be on that position, and you guys are doing very great there on AcadArena. I can't wait on your next move or your next step on how to make it huge. And I'm gonna be I'll be a fan of whatever you guys are doing there.
Thank you. No, yeah, let's chat more. I'm new here to the Philippines, so excited to meet all you guys, and happy to be a resource. And yeah, thank you so much. We have a lot to do, but it's cool that we get to do this through video games.
All
Thanks,
right.
bro.
Thank you, Kevin. And of course, you may catch us on our previous episode in the official United Gamers Guild. We have our website right now, unitedgamers.gg, and you can also follow our official Facebook page at facebook.com/United Gamers Guild. And we have a Twitter channel at UGG Network, and you can also join our official Discord server and become part of our ever growing community. Once again, I'm your host in this episode, Rob Luna. Joining me here, Kevin Hoang. Thank you so much for giving the time and teaching us on how we actually get to explore the NFT gaming scene. And of course, we're gonna be seeing you guys into the next episode.